when I was in the second grade. It was like a career day or whatever, and the teacher was like, what do you want to do? And people were raising their hand. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a firefighter. And I raised my hand just as confident as I could. And I was like, I want to sell houses. And my parents were like, where did that come from?
All right, Caroline, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Been doing good. It's been a little bit since we saw each other. I
Yes.
think the last time was you and Phil's wedding.
It was.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
Can't believe it,
It's
yes.
crazy how quickly time flies by.
Yes.
I know you guys went ahead. I shared your wedding film on your anniversary. I think
Yes.
you shared it.
I just reshared it.
Yeah,
It was so fun.
That's the cool part about like watching those videos over again.
I could watch it a million times. It was such a fun day.
Well, the cool part is like you guys get to relive it, but I get to relive it too because I do all these weddings and all these different projects.
Yes,
And I'm
you
like,
get to meet a lot of new people.
I forgot all about what happened there. But so you're in the real estate industry.
I am.
And we're doing this podcast today, obviously to learn a little bit more about the real estate industry, your take on it, what you do, how long you've been doing it. So first things first, for the people that don't know who you are, what's your name, where are you from, and what do you do?
Okay, so I am Caroline Cook Harris now. I am a real estate agent and I have been doing it for about 18 years. I am born and raised here in the Greenville, Winterville area. I just turned 40 years old. My whole family is here, and I work for RE/MAX, and I really, really love what I do.
Awesome.
Yes.
So we talked about it a little bit off camera. How long have you been in the real estate industry?
18 years, just hit 18 years.
Have you been with RE/MAX the whole time?
I started with another company the first 2 years, but mainly been with RE/MAX about 16 years.
Awesome. So I want to hear like from the very beginning. So 18 years ago when you were getting your real estate license, like
It was tough.
what
really,
happened?
Really tough.
Were you in the real estate industry beforehand? Did you kind of...
I wasn't, and didn't have any like family in it. Real funny story. When I was in the second grade, it was like a career day or whatever, and the teacher was like, what do you want to do? And people were raising their hand. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a firefighter. And I raised my hand just as confident as I could. And I was like, I want to sell houses. And my parents were like, where did that come from? But anyways, just stuck with that. Like, just knew I wanted to be in sales. My dad's in sales. So just kind of took off from that right after college, and just seen a lot of like ups and downs. When I first started real estate, definitely had to have another full-time job. Like, it's hard. You can't just jump into it because there's so many upfront expenses. And then about year 5, I was able to quit my full-time job and just really focus on real estate. So when I was working in the other job, it was a lot of like showing houses on my lunch break and after 5. But then when I finally felt confident, after getting through like 2008 to through to 2010, like I said, there's been a lot of ups and downs. I felt good about it. I said, let's do this.
Now, I talked to another local real estate agent, Emily McAllister, and I brought up the whole part-time thing. I'm sure things back then were a little bit different, but one of the things that she said was that when she first started real estate, she was waiting tables, and she would get a call to have to show a house, but she was at work, so there was a conflict of interest. How did you do that for 5 years?
Well, I worked for a telecommunications company, so it was a little different where I was able to do it. I traveled a lot for that job, so I was able to talk in the car. Yes, I was able to do that, but I can see how that was a conflict because a lot of people call like after 5. So I think that's why I was able to do it. So then after 5 and the weekends, I was free. And as a waitress, that was probably a lot of like Saturday, Sunday work. It was a lot more on the weekends, like doing open houses and stuff. And I feel like there's not much more of that anymore. I mean, there's some open houses, but now houses are not staying on the market long enough to even have an open house sometimes.
Yeah, like we have a model home in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, they have open houses, but I'm surprised they haven't sold the model home yet.
Yeah,
they sold
I know.
the first
They probably
model
want
home.
to.
They sold the first model home that was on this street, and then whatever phase this neighborhood is
Yeah.
on right now, they sold that.
Oh, wow. It's. I'm telling you, I've seen so many like the up and down because everybody's like, how did you get through 2008? Because that was probably like my second year. But like I said, I had a full-time job, and honestly, I didn't know the difference. Like 2008 was really, really hard for people. I mean, some people like truly went under, like builders and stuff. But then it just only got better. So I was like, okay, we can make this work.
And with you doing this for 18 years, you've seen the two crazies in the real estate
Yes.
industry. You've seen 2008, and then you probably had a little bit of fear in 2019 or 2020
Absolutely.
because
So much fear. I feel like I always have fear,
well,
but
we sold our rental. I tell everyone the story. We sold our rental in April of 2020 because we had no idea. We were like, oh my God, like what's going to happen with the whole pandemic thing? Is everything just going to shut down?
everybody was so unsure.
We sold it. I wish we would have kept the damn thing because
Yes.
we just looked it up, and I think we bought that house originally for $350,000.
Yes.
And it just recently
think we've talked
sold
about
for
this, yes.
$700.
Same with
Yeah.
me. I moved during COVID also, and the house that I had at the time was in the same neighborhood that I'm in. It's public now, but I'm in Tucker Estates. I love that neighborhood. I'm in my second home there, and I had to sell that house, obviously, to get the other house, but I ride by that house several times a day, and I'm like, man, that would be such a good rental.
Kicking
and
yourself in
like,
the ass.
Yes,
like, yeah.
well, and I could have gotten so much more, like, who would have thought? But it was cool that I was able to buy my current house, and now it's like worth so much more. I got that 2.75 rate. Actually bought a beach house that year. So I'm 2.75 on that, and that's just crazy. I just feel like that's something that we'll never see again. And like we talked before, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but I feel like a lot of buyers right now are waiting for that like 3 and below, and unfortunately I just really don't think we'll ever see that. And my first house, I bought my first house really young. I was 22 years old.
Same.
And my rate was, and that was my first house. I'm in my third home now.
I look back at that house too.
And it was like
Yeah.
6.5, and like, that's really not that high. I mean, I just think everybody's comparing it to the 3. And then I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with your parents or aunts and uncles. My dad was saying their first house was somewhere between like 12 and 16%.
I've heard
I don't
that.
know how in the world they afforded that, but
I've heard as
at
high
the
as
time you just had to
18%,
do
yeah.
it because it's always better than renting. But that is really, really crazy that that rate was like above 10.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier when we were talking about the whole part-time thing, full-time
Yeah.
thing, you mentioned that a lot of the showings happen after 5 o'clock. So is this still an industry where, if you want to get your foot into it, that you can still kind of do it part-time to start with?
Yes and no. That's kind of a tough question, but yes, I think you can, definitely. But it's just like right now, kind of like off the subject, but I just feel like people, it's funny, I joke about this a lot. I feel like people think I'm going to get into real estate because it's so easy. And that is like hilarious to me because nothing's easy. I don't think anyone's job is easy, but I think over the years, people have said, oh, look at this. Like, Caroline, she's doing this, I can do this. But then just good luck to them. It's just challenging because you don't get benefits. Like I pay my own insurance. So like you just have to hustle. And
You're a 1099 employee.
yes, absolutely. So if there's months without a closing, you get a little nervous, but you just have to like save because taxes are getting ready to be due, all that fun stuff.
Because that's the big misconception.
But it is possible to be a part-time person, but I
Yeah.
think you have to stick, like I said, I did a full-time job for 5 years. I stuck with that. Because you had to have some kind of money coming in. The upfront, like you have to pay like the MLS fees. There's just a lot. Every January 1st, we have this big bill that we have to pay the board office, and it's like $650. And sometimes I'm like, how can people just like stay in it? People that sell like one to 3 houses a year, I don't understand, but good for them. But I think they have another income.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the big misconception about the whole, as a real estate agent is that a lot of people will think, oh, Remax just cuts me a salary and then I earn commission.
No.
No, you are a business owner.
Like it's funny that you say that because sometimes I think people think that I get like paid hourly to like go show a house. Like in this market, like there's buyers that I'll work with for 6 months to a year, which is totally fine. It's not their fault. Like I'm not showing houses to them every day. It's just, there's just not a lot on the market. But sometimes I feel like people think, oh, well, she's just getting paid hourly. Well, no, but that's why you hustle even harder. And then the commission is all most of the time worth it. But it's just funny. It's funny that you say that because I really, really think, but like I have to rent my office space from Remax, kind of like a hairdresser, like they like booth rent. But of course, I'm Team Remax. Love them so much.
Because
Because that's a really, really big company, and I get a lot of leads from other Remax agents. Like I have a family that just moved here from Texas, and they used Remax. So then, of course, their agent sent them to me, and then that was a win-win for everybody.
Because the perk of that is essentially you get to use the big name,
Yes, the umbrella
the trusted
of
name.
Remax. Yes,
You get to be able to use that, but again, you're still your own salesperson. And,
absolutely.
yeah.
It's my name. They're going to call my cell phone. There'll be a lot of transactions I'll go through, and people are like, "Where is it that you work again?" Because they call for my name.
Right.
So you got to keep your name with your face and keep all of that up.
Well, so one thing I want to ask you is we talked a little bit about this, and that when it comes down to real estate, I automatically think sales. But over the 18 years, there's technology with sales. So how's the technology changed? What technology has come about? All that. And Dakota is once again premiering
baby.
on this
I love
podcast.
Dogs. You smell my doggy. Technology. Okay, so it's funny because I have a love-hate for technology. Like I try to learn it and be good. And it could be so helpful. Like the very beginning of
Dakota.
looking at the MLS, it was not as tech savvy, but now like when you look up a house, you can be very like specific. Like if someone's like, I have to have a garage, like you do that, you put in the school system, the square footage and all that. And then obviously you can do all that from your phone. There's an app. I mean, I just feel like I'm always on,
Just roll it.
I'm always on. It's okay. I'm always on that app, just kind of like looking. And there's a thing called the hot sheet that comes out, and you got to look. And I'm like stalking it every hour. I'm like, what's come up? What's come up? Because right now, I can honestly say, I have like 8 or 9 families looking for houses, and we're just all at a standstill. And I do a lot of work at the beach. Actually had somebody looking over there this morning.
That technology has to help keep you organized.
Oh my gosh, because I do Atlantic Beach, Morehead City, Carteret County, and that MLS is actually merged with Pitt County. So that is really cool. That's all on one app, but the technology is amazing.
Do you know Shirley Morrison by any chance?
Yes.
She's fun.
Yeah, she was our old broker in charge.
She has another personality. She's a big personality.
Yeah. So how do you know Shirley?
So I shot her daughter's wedding.
Yep.
Years and years ago. And then I ended up doing some work for Shirley with her real estate firm. We made a couple of videos and all that. Did some interviews.
Yes.
So, but no, she's one of those like go-getter personalities too.
She's been in it a long
I feel like
time.
all of you women in
you have to be.
real
Oh my
estate
gosh, we're
have
all
that go-getter
we're
personality.
all like type A for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've noticed that, but
Did you?
You have to be.
Were you always type A?
I feel like that's a good question. Definitely now.
Did this industry change you? Because like my industry, for example,
Not really.
I was like really, in high school and all that, I was like really reserved, like kind of just kept to my own little friend group and all that. But then like once I started this business, I had to start talking to people and being a people-friendly person.
Yeah, I feel like I've always definitely been like the social person for sure.
Now we talked about sales markets and all that. What's the most underrated area here in Pitt County or even in just North Carolina in general to find or buy, sell real estate?
Like a particular part of town?
Is there like an underrated spot that people are just like, maybe not there, but
I think like the Winterville area, like right where we are today, and then like almost between Winterville and Ayden. Winterville is so like underrated, and I'll say, well, I don't mean that ugly, but like I had a Winterville address my whole life. My parents still live in Winterville, but I'll have somebody come in. I'm working with a family right now out of Charlotte, and they're like, Winterville, where's Winterville? But I'm like, it's like a minute from the Greenville line. So sometimes that can say like, I mean, I think your house and the neighborhood is beautiful, but I just think the Winterville name sometimes, if you're coming from like another state, they're like, where's that?
They're like, I want to be close to Greenville.
But so much is going this way. I mean, you guys
a
got
rock.
like Fresh Market down the street. You've got Lowe's Home Improvement. You've got
We're about to have a big, massive Lowe's grocery store being built.
Yes. Oh my gosh, love Lowe's grocery
Chick-fil-A's
store.
down
Chick-fil-A.
right now.
Yes. That'll be back up. My niece actually works there. Great company. The Lowe's food. Oh my gosh, I loved when Lowe's was here before. Do you remember Lowe's being here, like on?
I
Evans?
remember Lowe's as a kid where I grew up at, and it was not the same. They ended up turning this.
That's
Lowe's,
where I try to shop. That and Food Line at Atlantic Beach.
They ended up
like
turning
a bar
this
inside of
Lowe's
there.
into a Piggly Wiggly, and but
the
this
pig.
was this Lowe's right here. I'm pretty.
Oh yeah, you're
excited
so
about it.
close. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's a lot over this way.
Now, before Winterville, like the big hot market was always like Grimesland area.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I would
that's
say.
like,
Well, now it is.
It
definitely.
seems like that's where a lot of like the money in Greenville is at. Well, is that right? I mean,
I guess so. I just feel like it's like all of Pitt County, because like Pitt County as a whole, I guess it is very like rural, like it's really big, but it just doesn't take long to get from one side of town to the other. You know,
Just
like,
don't go down Fifth Street.
oh my gosh.
Then it'll take you a long time.
Yeah. But like today to get here, like I just feel like Fire Tower is my little like cut through road. Like, but a funny story about Fire Tower. Me and my mom will laugh about this. That was literally like a back road, like where we used to go to church. That we took that way, and it was like a 2-lane road. Not a lot of people knew about it, and now Fire Tower like gets you to everything. Fire Tower is crazy. I look at it as like a racetrack. That and like the new Regency. Like when I get on Regency, I'm like, I am in a NASCAR race. But
Regency is like
it's just interesting. And then Greenville Boulevard, avoid at all cost. I just feel like every road's busy. Arlington, especially anytime. I used to say like after 4, but I swear like I don't know if people are just not working. Well, there's a lot of people unemployed, but the traffic is nuts.
Well, I think anyone that lives in Greenville has noticed when the college is out, like traffic clears up immediately.
Yes,
so I have noticed that.
Which I love the college being here. You know, we've got to have those students and the support. So when people say that, but like it does make a difference. That weekend that they move back in August, it's like avoid at all costs.
Graduation
go
weekend,
to the beach. Do not go to Target or Walmart.
Yeah.
Graduation weekend, that first weekend of May, it's like do not.
Well, we made the mistake. It was winter graduation. We went down.
That one sneaks up on you.
Yeah, we went down to one of the restaurants downtown, Sidebar. And we're like, why is it so packed?
Forever.
Why is there a police car over here? Why is this lane closed
I always
down?
forget about that December graduation weekend.
And then we walk in and everyone's in like the graduation gowns and like, oh shit, I forgot all about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. This is always a really interesting one. Is it easier to sell a big house or a small house, or is there a difference?
Okay, good question. So they're all the same. They're all hard when I say they're all the same. Of course, a bigger house comes with a bigger commission, more money. But really, that's a really good question. I just think they're all hard. Sometimes before I say this, I do not mean this ugly, but sometimes with a smaller house, it's someone's first time and the financing can be like if it's something under 100,000, like the financing, you know, they're just really struggling and trying to afford the house. So sometimes there can be loopholes with that, but I've got my lenders that I love and they'll, you know, get through loopholes. I like to, when someone comes to me and is getting ready to buy a house, first thing I say, here's 2 mortgage lenders, call them both, get their opinion and see what you need to do to get your credit right. Like that's the first step. I'm not going to take anybody out and waste my time until they are like pre-approved is what we call it.
Because again,
you got the letter,
is not paying you hourly.
and you got a good. And again, we're not getting paid hourly. So used to, I would jump in the car and like go show a house to anybody. But it's just there's a safety issue with that, like all the things. So definitely, if any new buyers are listening to this, like you always want to get pre-approved because you want to make sure you can afford what you want to, and you might be able to afford more than you think. So, and then you have that budget because you don't want to start at like 300,000 and then you can't afford but 200. I mean, that's a huge difference, or even like 250.
Is there a secret like blacklist that like real estate agents share? It's just like these people are not pre-approved. And
that's probably happened before, but you can kind of figure it out. Like, and that's again, like that's another thing for like new agents that you can't like teach.
Yeah.
I just feel like you kind of have to ask a couple questions and you can kind of figure that out. And back to like, I know you didn't ask me about the safety issue, but as a woman, like you just got to be careful. Most of the time, the people that I show to, I know them, but if somebody calls off a listing or something, and we do have a safety protocol at Remax. I have Find My Friends with my mom, my dad, my husband. Like mom is definitely always stalking me on there. Shout out to Franny. But you just got to be safe. You know what I mean? Like even somebody that you know could be there to set you up. But the safety thing, I mean, there was a lady in Durham that was murdered years ago.
Real estate agent?
You just gotta, yes,
Really?
You just got to be careful. Like, just cannot be so trusting of people. I know we're getting off the subject, but I just think safety is like huge. Like, you just need to, just people are crazy in this world. But as a woman, you just kind of gotta be careful. There's just things, if I don't know somebody, like definitely send Phil my location.
Yeah.
That way he can at least find where I was murdered, but no.
Right.
Anyways, no, all jokes aside, but you just got to be careful. I mean, you know, I just try to ask some questions. I'm not afraid to ask for someone's identification, like if I'm showing a rental property, just for safety, and people are not afraid to give that to you.
And that's really solid advice too for a new agent.
Yeah, and if you're showing someone's house, like right now, if your house was on the market, you know, you've got stuff in here, like there's a safety issue, and like we kind of have to walk around and make sure. I mean, stuff's gotten taken before, dog, medicine, anything.
Right.
So you just gotta like protect yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like so many like little nuances like in everyone's industry that you, like us outsiders never think about.
Well, I definitely got off the subject of that. But then like a bigger house, last year I sold the second largest house of my career. It was 1.3 million, and that was super fun. The commission check on that. But I mean, there was hurdles with that. Like there was some repairs. I mean, my people were ready. I was on the buyer side, and
you have a smaller market to sell to when you're selling
oh my
a house
gosh,
like that.
And there's not, I mean, we looked for a while, this particular family, like they were ready to go. Like they could spend up to however many, like 1.5 or whatever.
Yeah,
and it was good. We finally found the right house. It was something that had been on the market for a while. I was like, let's circle back around to this one. And they were out of town. I went and videoed it for them. I do a lot of like walkthrough videos when someone can't get there fast enough. And so that's fun. I need your help with that because my video skills are not the best. But it's just the gist of like the feel, because sometimes the pictures don't do it justice. Like I need to go measure something. Like I have a family right now I'm working with this handicap, and I need to truly go see like the width of the doors, because you can't see that in pictures.
And
so I do a lot of that.
I think when you do like the professional video walkthroughs, you need professional photos all the time, right? But the professional video walkthroughs is kind of a luxury item, right?
Right. And that just gets somebody in the door, but
yeah. And the thing is that like this is not a luxury home. So in my personal opinion, if a real estate agent was asking me to do a video of this home, be like, look, you know, you don't need it.
It doesn't do it justice.
Just do the photos, yes. But when it comes down to luxury properties, especially when you have so many different amenities, you know, pool with patio in the backyard,
I know.
These things, this thing, that's where the video for the luxury properties is a good investment for a real estate agent.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you about this. So we talked about, you know, big houses, small houses. What actually makes a house easy to sell? And can you kind of differentiate between easy, Philip.
Nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. Again, going back to the finance and like really being set up, and people, like, knock on wood, I haven't had many problems with that recently. I think people are learning that you just got to be ready and saved up. I think people really try to save their money. Sometimes people will listen to somebody like Dave Ramsey and try to like get the gist of what they need to like put down on a house.
That's what we did.
Stuff like that.
That's what we did, and it kind of helped us out a little bit. It helped us. It helped us kind of clear our debt a lot before we bought a house, because the big misconception,
you don't want to be house poor.
You do, and we were in Virginia Beach.
I say that a lot.
I'll tell you all about that.
You don't want to have like this big house, and I tell people all the time, like, of course I want to sell the bigger house, more money. But my favorite part about my job is that like I'm not selling one product. I'm not selling like a branded like milk jug. I am selling a house, and I want to be able to resell that house. And it's such a big decision. They're not going to the mall and like buying a t-shirt. You can't just like return it. So I want them to feel, I tell people all the time, I have a family when I'm working with right now, and I said, I know you're tired of me repeating myself, you're ready to find something, but I do not want you to settle. Like, please don't settle on a house. Like there's some things that you can't, I mean, you can always do repairs and remodel and stuff, but to answer your question, no transaction is easy. I mean, there's been ones that I'm like, gosh, I really needed that like home run, easy transaction. But some of them are tougher. And then there's some clients, bless them, that I just, when I'm done, I'm like, I'm done. We made it. We're done. But some are more challenging, but like every single transaction is different. I don't have any that are comparative. So but that's fun. Every single day is different.
I want to get off topic a little bit, and I want to talk about this subject. The big thing with new home buyers and first-time buyers is looking for that forever home.
Oh my gosh.
We're in our third house. You've had multiple houses.
Yes.
Can we please debunk the whole
what is the forever home
thing? So from the real estate...
Is that really a thing? Because you don't know when you're going to pass away, you know? Like, you can think it's your forever home. I mean, I hope I'm in my forever home. We love, love, love our house, but
things change.
If we were to extend our family, like, you just never know. But do love my house. I would, like, be really, really sad if that didn't work out. But
when a buyer's asking you, like, hey, I'm looking for my forever home, this is our first house, do you ever give them, like, any sound advice, or do you just kind of
It's funny. I feel like I don't get that a lot, but I can see where you, like, think that comes from.
It's my age group. It's the millennials.
Yes, true. Okay, so the sound advice on that would be, okay, what are your non-negotiables? Because I will say, like, unless you, like, custom build your house, and there's people that custom build their houses all the time, and they're like, this is what we would change. There's always stuff you would change. So I'll tell people, like, okay, if you're coming to me and you're like, Kieran, I want to buy a house, or my forever house, give me your price range. What are the like non-negotiables? But then let's say, like a garage is a non-negotiable. It doesn't have like an open floor plan, like something that like you can kind of like change your mind on. I'm like, okay, well, I know this house that is 4 bedroom like you need. It's in your price budget. It's in your location, but it's not open floor plan, but it has this amazing swimming pool. And like swimming pool wasn't on your list, but then it's like, oh my God, I never knew that we needed a swimming pool.
There's
So you
so
just
many
have to kind of like
variables.
walk through and you got to like see. And going back to the video thing, a lot of people during COVID did sight unseen of houses. And let me tell you, that is like my biggest anxiety. I've had a couple of those, but that is like fully putting their trust in me, which makes me feel good that they trust me like that. But you have to walk through a house before you buy it.
Because let's be real, when you put the 0.5 on your phone
Oh
on
my
the camera's
gosh.
mode,
Exactly.
it makes, I mean, like what? This is 25,
Yeah, but like
30
the
foot
feel
ceilings.
and your attitude, like
Yeah.
how like a lot of people, like I'm really good at like reading people because a lot of real estate is sociology. Like especially if it's like a couple, like a husband and a wife. You talk to one more than the other, and then when they both walk into the house, like I love the satisfaction of like, oh my God, we love it. I mean, you can kind of tell that in the first like 10-15 seconds. But then when there's not a lot of inventory, like right now, they'll walk through a house and then they'll end up, they didn't love it right when they walked in, but by the time we're in the driveway, they're like, Carolyn, we want to make an offer. And I'm like, I love the negotiating part. So they're like, what would you do? And all this.
Yeah.
So
Now, I was talking about a little bit Virginia Beach area. We're talking about house poor and
Yes,
all that.
yes.
So I'll tell you my house poor
Okay.
story first, and then we're going to get into
forget you were there.
one other part about Virginia Beach.
Okay. Here's the
So
door.
when it comes down, yeah, feel free to. When it comes down to being house poor, I've experienced it personally, me and my wife. And what we did was like, we didn't buy an extremely like extravagant big house or anything,
Okay.
but for the area, we were 15 minutes away from the ocean, and we were leaving.
nice area.
We were leaving Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where we had a 2,000 square foot house for $165,000 at the time. We didn't want to downgrade like floor plan and all that, so in order to find that, we had to pay $365, $370, somewhere around
gosh.
there. And this
That is
was
high.
It was high, especially with me. I mean, I think I was like halfway through where I'm at now with my business, so money was good, and on paper we could afford
so
the
risky,
house.
yes.
We could afford the house on paper. But then once we actually moved in, we realized, oh man, we can't go out to eat anymore. We can't go on vacations anymore.
See, that's a
All
deal
we're doing
breaker
is
for me. We
working
love to go out to
for
eat.
the house. And we experienced that, and it was miserable.
But that's the true definition of
Yeah.
house poor. And I try to explain that to people.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it affected the relationship too. We were arguing about it all the time. Everything was money this, money that.
It affects everything.
Yeah, and then we ended up making that into a rental property, and then moving down here, selling that property, unfortunately, like I said earlier. But
Yeah.
we're here now. We're
But
not
you
house
had to
poor.
get out of it, yes.
Yeah, and we have a nicer house now too.
Well, 365 that's a very high range. I mean, you could get something really nice for that in Greenville for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now
Winterville.
the houses in our neighborhood are above 365,
I
which
know.
is wild. We bought this house
Everything
for
is
250.
really like
Yeah.
skyrocketed.
And I love it. Back to the Virginia Beach house.
Okay.
Is there anything odd? Like, what's the most odd thing that you've ever seen layout wise in a house?
Oh my gosh, we see a lot of weird things. We always joke
I got one
about.
for you.
We always joke about like somebody needs to write a book. Like we have a group, me at Remax, and like sometimes we'll send pictures of like, y'all look at this. Have y'all seen this? I can't think of anything really in particular. People's decorations and stuff are weird. I've walked in some funny things before.
Have you ever knocked down any walls that shouldn't have been knocked down? Anything like
I have.
that?
I don't think I've
stands
seen
out?
that. Do you have a story?
So our house in Virginia Beach, we loved the house. We were looking at another house too, but the location, this neighborhood was perfect. The only bad thing was that the master bedroom had a Jack and Jill
Okay.
master bedroom type of thing. So
interesting.
the person that originally owned that house still lived in the neighborhood. He was walking around and told us about it. He was like, yeah, that was my home office. And instead of walking around, I just decided to make a doorway into the other room. So that way we could have my bedroom, my office, and then the bathroom, which the entire upstairs shared.
Laziness, yeah.
It was lazy, and when we went to sell
Not
that
like
house,
it's a mansion.
when we went to sell that house, that was the hardest thing.
Oh, I bet.
Everyone was just like, why this thing? And I'm like, look, you could
Yeah, there's
spackle
people
this
that
thing
ask
and
me
put
all
it
the
back.
time, like, what should we do? Should we add this? Should we do? You just got to
Yeah.
think about resale.
Any advice? Is there anything? So, like I said, we were talking about forever homes earlier. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times, our forever home, we end up selling it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would suggest to a seller to not change for the
Okay, really,
resellability?
really good question. Okay, so first thing that comes to mind is a bathtub. Okay, so some people like hate taking a bath, but somewhere in your house, I feel like there needs to be a tub, not a large tub like Whirlpool with jets or anything, but you got to think resale, like for younger kids.
I'll ask you a question after
There's
this.
got to
Yeah.
be a bathtub. Like at our house, we have a big shower without a bathtub, but then there's a bathtub in the hall bath. I just feel like you've got to. That is a must.
Does not having a tub in a master affect anything?
No, I would not say so. Like I
Good.
said, with our house, we've got a huge shower, which I love, but there is a tub in the house.
Because we are going to get rid of our tub because we never
A lot
use
of
it.
people do that.
And I'm going to expand the shower.
Yes.
Make it into like one of those New York hotel
Awesome.
showers.
People love like a big shower, but you have a tub in the
We have a
boys'
tub
bathroom.
in
Yes.
the boys' bathroom.
Yeah, well, don't take that out. That would be my suggestion.
Gotcha.
But just have a tub for resale. I mean, even if you're just planning
So as
to
long as
stay
you got
there
a tub in
forever.
the house.
Do what?
As long as you got a tub in the house,
Yes,
you're good.
I think just at least one tub, you're good. People
People-
definitely like the big showers. That is so in. I always tell people like, I just think bathroom, kitchen, master bedroom is very, very important. Like, do the shower like you like. Like, just a big shower is awesome.
Gotcha. And
Updated.
then people are always updating their kitchens and
Uh-huh.
taking stuff out, putting stuff up. Anything kitchen related that like you stay away from.
I am
from a
so not good
resaleability.
with like the decorating and stuff, but obviously have all the appliances that you need. Dishwasher, sometimes people are like, we do not use the dishwasher. Well, most of Americans do. So like, do not take that out necessarily, or have a way that I've seen people take that out and then do like an extra like wine fridge. That's fine, but then the dishwasher can go back in there. Like if that's like a deal breaker, if they go to sell that house. What else with the kitchen? I just think appliances are real important. Cabinet space. I just feel like everybody's like, oh, I have too much cabinet space. That's never anything anybody says. But definitely make sure not to take out cabinet space. Yeah.
Let's talk home inspections.
Oh Lord.
So
Deal breakers.
what's the wildest thing that you've run into? Like just something that sticks out on a home inspection.
Oh, I'm so
that
glad. Like I was afraid I was gonna like
compromise.
freeze up and not know answers. Animals, dead animals.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was doing an inspection one time, and I was with the inspector. We laugh a lot. I love my home inspector, and like just the smell, like just was awful. It's just like, what is that? And it was a vacant home. What in the world? And come to find out, there was like a dead raccoon in the attic. But like that smell, just like it was awful. So then we had to call like an exterminator to come and do that, because that is definitely not in my job description. But animals, there's a lot of times when the inspector's there and they suit up and they go into the crawl space, and I try to like stay close by, because what if there's a snake or so? Oh, I hate snakes. But yeah, but a lot of homes in Eastern North Carolina have moisture, and people will freak out. I don't know if you had that in your, I think you're on a slab, but
We're on a slab,
just, there's
And
just a
we're
lot.
on a slab because we had issues that I never want to revisit again.
Yes, exactly. I'm on a slab too. But just the crawl space, people will just absolutely freak out if they see that on there. But like every single inspection, there's going to be moisture. We'll figure it out. You can put a dehumidifier in there, but it will make people. But to answer your question, like with home inspections, I just think don't always think the worst. Like you'll get the report, and it's always going to look worse than it is, because the inspector has to. Legally, he has to like jot down everything. And then, but there's always things that you can negotiate. But if an inspection is absolutely awful, there's nothing. That's why there's like due diligence. And if you need to back out, I do not think you should be stuck with something that you weren't, didn't expect. Talking about being house poor. Like if there's something that's like $15,000 that needs to be done to make the house livable, and the sellers won't fix it, that's 15 grand that you didn't know about. So. But that's why you use your agent and have them talk through. Definitely get an inspection, always get an appraisal, all the stuff. Like when something goes pending under contract, that's just the start. We've got 3 to 4 more weeks of just doing some real hard praying of let's get through the finish line. So
What's your advice on when you are selling a property? Do you urge the sellers to go ahead and get a
I
pre-inspection?
do. I think that's really, really good so that there's no unexpected things. They don't have to, because with that, an inspection is only good for the day that it inspected. Like something can break the next week, but yes, I always encourage, like, let's at least get someone to crawl under the house. Most sellers will know if there's anything that's wrong.
Kind of like look at the
Because they
bones
have
of
to
the
fill out
house.
like a property disclosure if there's anything that they're aware of. Like there's some legal stuff with that. But yeah, I do say, hey, let's go and get an inspection just so that once you're under contract, there's not the $10,000 or $15,000 thing that you thought you were going to be banking, and then because they're probably buying something else, and it's just the whole like domino effect.
And those disclosure laws change from state to state, right?
They do.
Because I think in Virginia,
so much-
someone could have
yes.
like died in our house, and it was not the seller's like
Yes.
obligation to
That's so crazy.
disclose it. Yeah.
So crazy.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I have never had to deal with that. But as far as like state to state, it's so interesting. Like if I ever were, I'm not planning on moving. But in my younger years, I was, would there be something in like Charleston or Myrtle Beach or South Carolina? And like, of course I could, get my license there. But it's crazy how different it is state to state.
Because you would think that
It would be like all across the board. But
it would be standardized across state to state, but I don't know. I don't even know how that even plays a factor in what you're able to
But I am
disclose.
always interested, like I say, like other agents at Remax with other states, like it's fun to like talk to them about, and then they're like, you don't do that here? So that's always interesting.
Now I want to get your taste a little bit. So if you could perfectly design a property without money being an issue at all, what kind of property would it be? Where would it be? How would it be
gosh.
laid out?
Well, you won't be surprised
What is
by
your
this, but it
forever
would be seeing some water. Love the beach. Okay, so it would be where you could see the ocean, not necessarily have to be on the just that beach vibe. Open floor plan, love that. Plenty of space, several bedrooms, big bathroom. I'm a real like big bathroom, love my space kind of girl. Big kitchen.
So nix the tub.
Yeah, do what?
Nix the tub.
Yeah, nix the tub in one of the rooms. Even messing like a pool. I'm real big on backyard. Like people right now is really popular is outdoor kitchens. That and like a fireplace. Big yard, but not too big. Love like my dog out there running. I feel like we'll always have a dog. Kind of fenced in area for them.
Speaking of dog.
Yeah, speaking of dog. Did you hear me say dog? And I'm not one that would ever want to live like, some people are like, oh, I want like 10 acres out by myself. Like, no, I want to be like somewhat close to people and near a grocery store. Yeah. Hey, you hear me talk about dogs.
That's our thing too is...
but water, definitely.
Dakota, get down. Dakota, get down.
Get down, baby.
I'm going to get a shock collar again.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm going to start doing. We left it out in the rain
well,
years
good thing
ago
I love
and ever
dogs.
since then. But no, so we have some neighbors that are like in the middle of like wanting to kind of move out. Their families have grown and all that. But they're the type of people that want to live on a couple of acres with no one around them. I can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I need fun in my life.
Yeah, definitely.
Me and my wife, we get along, but we need some people to come over here and entertain.
Then you just be like by yourself. That would be weird.
And that's where the pool came in. So
we love our neighbors too, so that helps.
What I was telling you earlier, we got our pool in 2020. It was kind of our pandemic project. And I mean, every summer, at any given time during the summer, you can
Well, there's a lot of warm days.
Yeah, that pool gets
Well, it's supposed to be 70 tomorrow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is.
We're gonna all be sick.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
the
pool gets up to 94 in the summer,
Yeah.
which some people find unbearable. I like a
Oh
hot
my
pool.
gosh.
Give me a hot pool and a hot tub, and I'm good to go.
See, I'll take like this weather right now is so not for me. It's 22 degrees. But I'll take like 105 over this any day. Like honestly, of course, I want like an 85-degree day.
Yeah.
But
how much of your time do you spend at the beach?
A lot. Definitely in the summer, close to every weekend. It's just such an easy drive. It's like 90 minutes door to door. We live on the side of Greenville that's like out by 43. And I'm doing a lot of business there. I'm really trying to get my feet wet there. A lot of friends buying a second home there. I'm not turning down any business there. And I've got some showing partners there that will help me. I have a buyer that was looking this morning, and of course I couldn't be in two places at one time. So my showing partner there is out showing her property today, and then I'll take back over. I'll get down there Thursday or Friday, and we'll make a decision on a house. So
And that's the beautiful thing about the North Carolina market is that you can live right here in Greenville, North Carolina, Carolina, a very big college town,
Yes.
and then drive 90 minutes to the
I
beach.
love the location of Greenville. I mean, you got to think, we're 2 hours from Wilmington, hour and a half from Atlantic Beach, 2 hours from the Outer Banks, like Nags Head, can scoot to Raleigh. I went last night, not far from the mountains, 4 hours. We're not far from 95. We went to Disney last weekend. I mean, it's just easy to scoot. I love the location, and then I love that we have mountains and beach. I'm a big North Carolina fan. Like, just, it's just easy to get to everywhere. And then Charlotte, you know, that's a hop, skip, and jump away.
Yeah.
I know we have a small airport here, but like going to Raleigh, I mean, that's nothing.
We're
You
supposed
just
to
get
be
up.
getting a Delta hub.
Well, we'll
Supposed
see.
to be. We'll see also.
Yeah.
was
I
there
do love
yesterday.
flying out of Greenville, but sometimes there's problems. But you know, it only goes to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So sometimes that can be complicated. Like sometimes it's just easier just to jump. Hey, let's just go to Raleigh and park.
Now, North Carolina was one of the most moved to states during the
As
pandemic.
it should be. Like Beaufort, like all that.
Yeah,
you know,
I think
the near the
Greenville
beach.
actually was a really
I'm getting a
big-
lot of people that are coming this way.
A lot of our neighbors now that are in the back of the neighborhood, like the newer phases, a lot of those are retirees from Connecticut,
so cool.
Rhode Island,
Well, it's cheaper to live
Delaware,
here too.
New York. Yeah, so they sold their
They
properties
avoid
up
the
there.
cold and the storms and.
Yeah. And one of the people that lives in the back of the neighborhood, she actually still works for the healthcare system of New York remotely.
Oh wow! Well, there's a lot of that since
She has
COVID.
to pay dual income tax because of New York and North Carolina. But aside from that, she's making New York money and living down here.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Win-win.
And that's the other thing too. North Carolina has always been a really affordable state to live in. Would you say that
Especially
compared
Greenville.
to everywhere else, is it still pretty affordable? Even though the
Absolutely. Like, are we talking Eastern North Carolina or just?
Yeah, Eastern North Carolina.
Because like a house here would be like much cheaper than something in like Raleigh or Charlotte. I think North Carolina is very affordable.
Because if you throw this house in New Jersey, this is a 3,000
Oh my
square foot
gosh,
house
crazy.
with a decent sized yard.
It would be like $1 million there.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Just to
It's-
think about.
Well, I think about
And
it.
I'd much
so-
rather be here.
Well, so we just had lunch with my cousin who works in New York City and his fiance, and they don't have any kids or anything like that, and they live right there in Manhattan in
Oh my
an
gosh.
apartment. And I would have loved to do that. Me and my wife talked about. I would have loved to do that when we were younger, no kids
What, like
or
live in
anything
a
like
closet?
that. But I could not imagine doing that now with kids and pets, and it'd be so hard.
Everybody has like their differences, like going back to like the dream home or whatever, like everybody's is different. And that's like so cool, like what they want. Like some people do want to be out on like 10 acres, like shut off from people. But speaking of like Manhattan, like I love to go visit there. But like when I get back, I cannot wait to like drive in my car and like have space, can like truly let my dog run around. Love like jumping on the subway and getting in taxis there. But it's just, it is just, you know. Yeah. I definitely like my space, and Phil would totally agree on that. Love to, have space.
Now, we talked about the market earlier, and I want to get a little bit more into the market as well, but we have this new emerging technology of like smart features in homes and stuff like that.
Oh, wow, that's really cool to see.
So, what do you think the future of housing market looks like in regards to the smart features, and like, are they starting to really work their way into builder grade homes?
Yes, I think there's always new stuff, and I just think even like the Nest thing for like the temperature, I think that's so cool, and like the Ring doorbell. Of course, we have all these gadgets at my house.
You don't get
I
mad
love
at
it.
Phil now for going over here and tapping on the thermostat.
Oh,
now.
no. But it's just like cool. You can do it from your phone, like at our beach house. Like, you can go ahead and adjust it. I even have one of those like smell good things in a plug. And like, if we haven't been there for a while, it's like, okay, let's just go ahead and turn that on so that it's like the fresh smell. I just think technology like that is so
And that's
so
beautiful
crazy.
when you have a second home, because when you're on the way there,
Yes.
it's pretty much ready
Yes.
for you. Like, it doesn't smell
Or like be
vacant.
able to turn the like alarm on. Like last night I got home later and he had the alarm set, but instead of like waking him up, I was able to do the tech. I just love like the gadget stuff. But with custom builders, like we just had Christmas and I'm seeing like a Christmas closet, like where you can truly like my dream come true, like take the tree and like put it in there. Like I love the Christmas stuff once it's up and all that, but like the hassle of all that. And then there's like a Christmas switch, like a light switch where it's just like for the Christmas lights. what is it? I told you I'm a big TikToker. The Costco door is what they're calling it. Of course, we don't have a Costco here, but it's a door between the garage and your kitchen, which is so freaking smart that you can just put like the groceries through that. So I've been seeing that.
Really?
Yes. So you put your groceries through it so that you're not like walking all the way around, and then it's like right there. It's like a square cutout.
The door, the dog's running out.
But it's like safe because it's in your garage. Like it's not nothing big enough that someone can like break through. But anyways, like little stuff like that, I think that is really, really cool.
Yeah, and 18 years ago.
Anything, and I think it's like safe, like the lights, like the features that you could put on, like the floodlights, like anything like that. Anything to keep like people out of your house. I think that's super. Yeah, I got Ring doorbells everywhere. Love it.
Yeah, and the cool thing too with like all the LED technology now is that yes, it costs a little bit of money to upgrade to smart features and all that, but with them being LED, they're not going to go out for years and years and years.
Who wants to change the light bulb?
Yeah, no one wants to change. Yeah, no one wants to get up there and change that light
bulb. But the Ring doorbell, mine's constantly beeping because of Amazon. Like I'm an Amazon girl, and it's just always. But it's like, I mean, I definitely feel like I'm in a safe cul-de-sac where I live, but that way, like I know when it's truly there. You know how they are, and they take a picture of it, but I can see like the person. It's there. I'm like, and if you're waiting on a package, oh, it came in. An outfit that I was waiting for.
I got the notification when you rolled up. It was
yes, no, but that's like safe. You don't want someone just rolling up at your house. Yeah. And switching that back to real estate, like when people have houses on the market, like they can kind of see. That is a feature now on the MLS. How does it state about the video recording? You either hit yes, no, or unknown to agent. But if there is a Ring doorbell, you just go ahead and say yes, just so you'll know. And most people, it used to be like the nanny cam, and there would be people, I cannot stand it, but people were definitely listening on their nanny cam as what people were saying. Like, why wouldn't they? But now you have to like disclose that. And I'm always like, watch what you say. Like I'm always like doing these signals. I'm like, I'm sure they can hear you, especially when we're like on the front porch. You can see the Ring doorbell. I'm like, just don't say anything to hurt their feelings. Like their house was terribly ugly. Like, let's don't say that. Especially when we go like talk about an offer. Like I'll be like, okay guys, everybody get in your car, and then I'll call you when we're down the road, because I don't want them to know what our like strategy is.
I didn't even think about that, because when it comes down to the selling side of things, we've sold 2 houses now.
Yes.
As a seller, you are dying to know
you're like,
what
are
that
they
person
saying?
walked
Everything
through your house.
You're just like paused.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking.
Yeah, that's like saying like your kid's ugly. Like you can't say. You got to be careful what you say.
Like you're asking a real estate agent, like, can you please talk to the agent? Like, what was good, what was bad? Tell me everything. And even if you know that those people weren't going to buy your house, like you still just.
Well, sometimes people say really like ugly things. I will say, like, you just got to be really, really careful.
Yeah.
Like just don't. Like just don't say like ugly things.
Gotcha. Now we're getting ready to start wrapping this thing up, but Caroline, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to get into the world of real estate in 2024?
Oh, good luck. No, I don't mean that ugly. It's just very, very challenging, and this has just been a hard like month. Last year was hard. It's always hard, but I do love like the competition of that. I would say, of course, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but definitely have another income. Go ahead and like get your sphere. Like I work my sphere, like my people that you know, everybody you know, like blast it out. Hey, I'm coming into real estate. Like that really, really, really helps. People that you know and people that trust you. Just go ahead and get that. Just start saving your money.
Emily made a really good point that the advice is always to save up 6 months worth of personal expenses.
Oh, well, I say that with any job.
She went ahead and also said that no one ever talks about saving up for the business side too.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because you do.
So it's like double.
Yeah. So it's not only saving up for the 6 months personal expenses, but you also have to, buy into the MLS and stuff like that. Can you speak a little bit on that part of the advice? Saving up. You were talking about having kind of an extra side income.
Yes. I won't say like how much I make sure to have in my business account, but like nothing's guaranteed. I mean, this month's been a little bit slower for me. I mean, I've always got closings happening. I've got 2 on Friday. But like saving for taxes, like definitely save this may blow people away, but 25 to 30% of every single check, like that is not yours. And that I will say has been the hardest things. Some people say real estate agents are the richest, poorest people that we know. Cause I mean, you could get like when I sold that 1.2 million, I mean, that was a really big check. Some people don't make that in a year, but it's in my savings account.
And Uncle Sam's getting 30% of it too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You just have to, I mean, I'm going to be hit with all that come in April. Well, I pay quarterly, but you know what I mean? Like you've got to like, save, save, save. And I always try to think, my husband would laugh at me for saying this because I don't think I would ever go, I don't mean this conceited, but I don't think I would ever go like 3 months anymore without selling a house. But at least have that. I know what I need to make a month to survive. So at least that times 3 and plus more.
Right.
To answer your question
Because I do the same
specifically.
thing too. Because with me,
But I have to spend money a lot on marketing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like all the time. I'm using my gas money. That's just like the least of just like going and showing houses. I'm always spending money on marketing, buying new signs, just promoting stuff
because you
on
have to
social
reinvest
media.
that money back into your business in order to continue
Oh,
to grow your
absolutely. You
business.
have to do that. That's
Yeah.
why like that startup year is, I mean, think you got to like purchase business cards. You want to get like headshots, all the things. I mean, the MLS fees, I'll go back to that. Like the keypad thing that we have, like that's not free. You have to pay that per month. Wherever you work, there's going to be charges there. Every bit of paper, mail outs, just anything.
What is some free marketing advice that you could give to newer agents? Like communicate,
Oh, wow,
like
social media,
networking
all
with
the
other
way.
agents, social media. Tell us about that.
Yes. Word of mouth. So every real estate agent, like you're in competition with them, but we also have to work together. Like there's usually 2 agents on every single transaction. Like let's say you're in real estate and you're the listing agent and I bring the buyer. Like we kind of got to be best friends through this. Like it is a team. And there's some agents that, you know, not everybody's like favorite, but you have to work together. And there's always new people. The other agent makes all the difference. You have to like come together and be a team for sure. Because you both want to get to the finish line. We both want to get our closing checks.
Right. So
Yes.
let's go ahead and do this. Let's end this with 2024.
Okay.
What's the market looking like right now? Where are
I'm
we
so nervous
headed?
about this year.
It's an election year, so usually things like real estate and taxes get affected. Let's talk all about it.
Okay, so I think rates have a lot to do with it. I always say I wish I had a crystal ball. I try to be like real faithful, but they say the rates are coming down. So I mean, people in finance are real confident about that. I think they've been at like the high 6s and 7s lately. I do not think we'll ever see that 3 again, but if they could get back to like the 5s, that would make such a difference.
Because there's a lot of people waiting to buy a house because they think the housing prices are going to go down. But here's my thing. Once people have realized they can sell for X, they're not going to go back down.
Correct.
To Y.
As why they should. Exactly. They say February is going to be really crazy, and I'm ready because it's been like a really slow month.
Let's go.
January is always slow though. January is like my freak out month. I'm like, I hate this weather. I'm ready for summer. Everybody's broke from the holidays.
Yeah.
January is a boring month. People try to diet and dry January, and I'm like, absolutely not. That's like a running joke between me and my friends. It's like the worst month to try to do that. Gotta like look forward to fun things and go out to eat and stuff like that. But the rates, again, I think that's going to make a big difference. But people are always having to move, like for work and those things. But don't hold out for like the rates because you can always, like we talked about, you can refinance. If there's a house that you love and you're ready to buy it, like pull the trigger. I'm not just saying like, just you're going to be kicking yourself in the behind if you're going to have like some regrets. But I really hope that it picks up. Right now, our inventory is so low. Things are selling in like a day or 2, or they're just like sitting there. The higher end stuff, anything over like 350 is kind of just like sitting there. But I feel like it's going to be a great year. It always turns out to be. I'm hustling for sure. Like I said, I've got lots of families I'm working with. Hope to be getting a lot of listings. I think it'll be good. And then when the time changes, March 10th, not that I'm counting down. I love when the time changes back to spring forward. I hate this getting dark early.
You get to show houses at sunlight again.
Yes, because it's really hard to see a house in the dark. I mean, people can go on their lunch break. I mean, it's not a ton of after 5 because people, if they want to see a house, everybody's flexible with their work. But when that time changes and it's warmer, people are out walking, out and about, and they have so much more daylight to walk around and see. Like you go out on a walk with your wife after 5:30, you've got so much more time, and you're like, oh wow, look at that Caroline Cook listing over there. Let's call her and like see what the price is for that.
They said they were going to get rid of this thing last year, the whole daylight savings.
Yeah,
thing.
what happened with that?
I don't know.
It's miserable.
They need to get
miserable.
rid of it.
Like I don't know anybody that would vote against it because it doesn't affect
Clearly
farmers.
there are people that voted against it.
Well, yeah, I know, but I was like you. I thought like we were done with it.
Yeah.
But it needs to go away. I mean, there's like seasonal depression with that. There's like nurses and stuff that don't see the light for like 3 days, and that is 1,000%.
Well, just like what you're talking about.
I'm real big on like vitamin D.
Yeah, so like my wife, she works in Rocky Mount, so an hour away. And
she leave at dark and come back at dark?
Gets off at 6.
Oh my gosh.
And
How
when
does
she
she
gets
do it?
here at 7,
I hope she's
Yeah.
taking her medicine, her vitamin D pills. Like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, like
We got the 5,000 IU over there.
got
We're
to,
set.
got to. If I go like days without it, it's like it just affects people's mood. And again, back to real estate, but there's more time in the day to look. Like the yards are prettier. Like right now, everybody's yards look like crap. Like
Right.
I like the green and the flowers, and it just picks things up. Like March and April are always busier for us. The last couple of years, I've been busy like 12 months out of the year, but really looking forward to like the March, April spring market.
I want to touch on selling in 2024 too. Like
Okay.
right now, I mean, is right now a good time to, if you're looking at selling your home, put it up there? I mean, is there
There's
really
never
ever
a bad
good
time. Like right now, I'll go back to the inventory. Like right now, you're not going to have to compete with a lot of people. So if someone is asking my advice, go ahead and get your house ready. Like just, I don't know what like the wait would be instead of competing with all these other people. But just set a price, and if you don't have to sell, like you said, the X and the Y price, just don't go below that. Like you don't have to sell it. Put it on the market and see what you get. You may get this like stupid offer. You may have multiple offers. You may have a cash offer that you can't refuse. So if you're thinking about selling, but always have somewhere to go. Like right now, I've got some homeless people, and I don't mean that like in a joking way, but like they sold their house, and several families, not just one, and they are kind of displaced, having to rent. They're not truly homeless, like out on the street, but
they're ready to move back
put the
into
cart
a
before the
house.
horse. Yes, like got a good amount. Like I think it's financially the right thing to do, but a lot of people displaced, and have a plan. If you're going to put your house on the market, don't be homeless.
So basically right now, there's a lot of people that need to buy a house, but there's just not the inventory
Yes,
for it right now.
lots of buyers.
I keep on saying we're going to end this, but we're not going
Well,
to.
I'm having fun.
Prefab houses like this one, new build, new construction, that's big right now. Has that always been big throughout the 18 years of you doing this?
I feel like there's always people that are leaning towards new construction.
Okay, so like an emerging neighborhood like this that's coming
Yes.
in. Because basically every neighborhood...
Some people only want like brand new, but
That was us this last
Yes.
time around, was like we wanted to make sure that if anything went wrong with this house, it was
I
our
like
fault.
newer-ish, but then I just feel like older homes have a lot of like character. Again, people want different things. But I just feel like there's always going to be new build. There's lots of land in Pitt County, and builders are just looking to
The
start.
piece of advice that I want to give to people out there that are looking at newer construction homes is you don't realize like some of the things that don't come with the home already. Like for example, the refrigerator, we had to buy that outright.
Yes.
The fence, we didn't have a fence. We had to put the fence up ourselves. And then even like, I miss our storm door. I miss our screen door.
See, there's like things.
Yeah,
that
like
you
I want to be able to open the door and just like let the
have
dog
the light.
look out.
Yes.
We just
gosh. I love a
gotten
storm door.
one yet. But then on top of that, the biggest thing is I never knew how windy North Carolina was until there was no trees around us.
So windy.
Yeah, like trees in a
hate
neighborhood
wind.
block the wind so much. And that's just something
Yes.
that we never thought of. So, just a
Yes.
piece of advice from me
Yes.
about that.
Well, like I said, everybody has their wants and stuff. I always like think of things I would add, like in a dream house. Like there's always things you would change. Like there's probably a couple of different things you would change about this house.
Yeah.
But like the storm door, for example. But that's something that you can always add or whatever.
Oh, exactly.
But your non-negotiables for your next go round.
That's me being lazy. I just haven't done that
Oh
yet.
no, it's okay.
I did the
Well,
board,
it gets a lot of light.
I did the
yeah.
board and batten and everything like that, but
Well,
yeah.
you've been a little busy, so
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
bit. So, we talked about the market 2024. Obviously, we want to end it with where can people find you if they want to buy a house, sell a house? Where can people find Caroline? Social media, Remax,
Yes,
everything.
well, cell phone is always the best way. I feel I'm pretty available. I've got the Apple Watch. I've got all the things. Check my phone regularly. I mean, there's times where I have to decompress for an hour and go to the gym and cut everything off. But I will call you back within the hour. Cell phone's the best way. 252-341-1992. Very easy number. Facebook, I'm real good at checking all my social medias. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Email, we can post all that. But just I would say cell phone.
Beautiful. And
Yeah,
you
or
work-
anywhere around town. I've got my favorite restaurants. Or at the beach. But you can find me.
Beautiful. And you work with buyers that are coming from out of state wanting to move to North Carolina?
Yes. I love that. I like when I have a little freshie that like doesn't know anything about Greenville. I love like showing them downtown. We'll go get a bite to eat at like Chico's. I love like teaching them about Greenville.
Beautiful.
You don't have a lot of people that are here that are like, God, I hate Greenville. I don't think that's ever happened to me. So, Team Greenville.
Awesome. Well, Caroline, I appreciate you.
Yes, this was so fun.
It was,
You made
it
it
was.
easy, definitely.
Awesome. Thanks
Yes,
a lot.
thank you for having me.